All right, we should be live. So, tonight, just like the stream says, we are going to be going over updating influxdb, creating web alerts, and looking at Windows Defender logs. So, we'll actually see if this is landed in Telegraph. I haven't looked in a few days, but Telegraph actually will now have the ability to use XML queries that you can generate from inside of Event Viewer in Windows to ship logs to InfluxDB. And I'm using that feature in the newest or in the nightly builds of Telegraph to get Windows logs in, and hopefully by the time that's in production, I actually have some useful data or some useful insights. Right now, it's just kind of plopping the data in, and I'm not making sense of it at this moment. But that's kind of the idea of staying ahead of it, is so when something cool happens in Influx that I want to happen, I can have it already pulled in or have it most of the way there, so I'm up to date with it. But first things first, new InfluxDB releases. Woot woot. So, oh, cool. They did add a command for upgrading from 1 to 2. RAS statement for Telegraph plugins. Oh, so they had to support infos. Oh, yeah, they realized scrapers weren't working in InfluxDB 0. Yeah, that's kind of a problem to not have scrapers working. Knew about that one. Had a Prometheus scraper while I was gathering metrics. And preserve color collections, import. Oh, cool. So now when you add InfluxDB information, or when you export an InfluxDB query, it'll actually save the colors with it too. So if you had custom color schemes, it will add that up. Oh, they added password security too. So this is one of the many reasons why I prefer Influx Data to Elasticsearch, is that they care about the security of the application out of the box a lot more. Paul Diggs, their founder, regrettably said, we care about time to awesome is their key performance metric. And what that means is from the time you start to care about it, from the time you have something good, is what they're trying to optimize for. And to me, good also implies that it's not just some random, thing that sits on port 9200 wide open. It actually has security for all the clients. So, hooray. So that's what's going on. So, seems pretty legit. Now, let's pop this open into a new tab. See if the URL schemas. Copy link location. All right, so now we need to copy that URL into our role. And we're going to do that in neovim roles. Oh, wrong repo. Sorry about that. Shift R. Shift RMM, ls. So now let's go into our roles in FluxDB. Believe that one's in tasks. Oh, cd. nvim. Run the right command. Hold on. This is out of date. Ah. All right. So now let's home v and then let's delete, insert, paste. Let's just widen this out to make sure we have everything squared away. And then make sure our spacing is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. All right. So now we need to make this 220 rc dot 1. And then it's going to remove the info files. Alright, everything should be good. So now to make sure that this is working, influx. Oh, what is it? Influx version. Yep, so we are running RC0. Let's make sure that we are running the correct info and get. Yep, awesome. So now what we're going to do is run our little Ansible playbook. Shift RMM, tac YAML. Oh, should probably tell it which inventory we're running it against. And then one other thing, something I did notice about influxdb while we're changing this is that you can add templates and stuff like that inside of the web GUI now. So I'm thinking about kicking that out of Ansible because that's something that might be something that should be a manual process because it could completely bork the UI of your app. You should probably have a bit of agency in that is kind of my thinking. And that's something an end user would want more control over. And this is more from like a sysadmin perspective. So inventory, throw the I flag at it. And then we're going to want to ask it nicely what to do. Something SSH at or agent SSH add tilde ID or SSH ID underscore say. What I'm doing right now is I am adding in my SSH key because security matters. So what an SSH key is a way that you can remotely authenticate into a server and without a password, and it's much more secure because it's a 2048-bit string, 4096 sometimes, and that's much harder to guess, and if you encrypt that file on top of it, it's going to be even harder. So that's kind of the thought process behind that. Which task failed? Changed item, owner, group. Yo, that's whack. So now, if we go back over to Armin, do an influx version, looks like we're still running that. Well, that kind of sucks. Alright, so failed, Armin, influxd, item changed, group owner. Source file does not exist. Alright, so now let's see what we have. Okay. So we need to make sure that is in our path. And the reason why I keep all these betas around is in case you need to revert. So now that's going to be in our main task file. Link, influx, binaries. Let's get rid of this garbage. Alright, and now we're going to do this really cool pro gamer move that you can do in Ansible, which is called start at task. So when you're developing your playbook and you just kind of want to get to the good stuff, you can copy the task name. Oh, helps if you quote it off, because by default, Linux command lines view whitespace as a way to demarc stuff. And then we put in our sudo password, our super secure sudo password, because default credentials are bad. Okay. Yay! So now if we go back over to our influxdb server. Alright, cool. So now that should have restarted the service. Yep. Sweet. Alright, let's see what goodies the influxdb team has given us this week. I have a good feeling. They've been doing some good, cool stuff lately. I still can't get over the awesome GUI support they added for like adding exploring what templates are available for influxdb. That's a really nice feature. Let's not go to Facebook. Let's go to the local IP, 8086. Could not sign in. What the hell? Oh. That's why. It's my old influxdb setup from like influxdb 1. Alright. Did all my stuff explode? Windows metrics, we're looking good so far. Hey! Might need to kick on a VM really quick so we can get some Windows metrics in here. So I only tested the Defender stuff on one VM for now. Since it's not it's in nightly releases, I didn't want to push chocolatey updates to do it all for me. And break stuff for other people and blow up my alerts from PagerDuty. Windows is so slow on Proxmox. I wonder if there are some tweaks I can make to that. Because it's running on flash storage, so it should be pretty snappy. And there's not a ton else going on. Yeah, anyway. So, all of our dashboards are there. Data. Let's see if scrapers work now. Let's test if that bug was fixed. Name the scraper. Scraper. Actually, no. I should do it the cool way so I can show you the awesome things that you can do. So now you can search for it, influxdb2 listener, woot woot. Or I believe you can go for templates too inside of settings. So let's go to templates. You can go to the community templates and it'll take you to GitHub. Just a really smooth flow. So now we go to this OSS2 monitor and then voila. Gives you the HTTP URL. So now what I'm thinking I could do is that I could just put the influx template in GitLab and say in the documentation, hey, do this. That's my thinking anyway. God, this Windows VM is slow. Copy templates. And then you install the template and it's there already. So now if we go to our dashboards, should do, and they're tagged. So you overview some of the metrics. Crap baskets. Let's go to the data and see if the scraper is actually working. The bugs lied. The bugs lied, man. This is some straight ball honky. Anyway, we can go back to doing some web monitoring later. Not a ton of issues. I've created a bunch of problems for myself, so that's been fun. We leaned out the Mesh Central config. So we used the information in the advanced config, and we just got rid of a whole bunch of commented out stuff. So all that red is just like IP filtering stuff and stuff that we can always add back in, but in the default config, I'm not super worried about. So, and the other thing is too is you can handle GeoIP on the web server side too. So you can, I know there's extensions for Nginx I haven't played with yet that can use the MaxMind sources, which I've had insanely good luck with. Especially compared to what I use at work. It's not so good. And then the other one is we got rid of Let's Encrypt since that's handled outside of the container. It doesn't really matter. We tweaked the HTTP headers so that way it'll work behind HA proxy. Finally read all the documentation and got it to work so it shows the real IP of the node that it's coming from, which can be very valuable information. So that way you actually can see where the node's going. So before it was just showing the gateway, it wasn't showing where the node was actually coming from, which is really annoying because you want to see, like, where's this node at? Because if it's showing behind the company firewall versus it's a work from home person, it could influence what could happen. So, hooray. So that one got fixed. Inventory cleanup. So inventory's cleaned up. A lot of it was stuff that really wasn't documented. We do have pricing. We have pricing now. I need to update it on the website. You get everything hosted by me and an amazing cloud provider for $125 for up to 300 endpoints. And I actually did a bunch of math to figure out that for those of you self-hosting, assume about 220, including internal metrics including telegraph metrics being shipped out per node every 10 seconds, so 20 metrics per second. Scale accordingly after that. There's actually a really good influx sizing guide I should link in the description after this. And then if you just want influxdb, $100. Just want managed mesh central, $50. And we do have custom development and stuff like that that we will put on the website very shortly. Excuse me. Oh yeah, we get to make another issue and close it really quick. We update influxdb to influx to RC1. And then let's assign it to me. And then this is issue 71. So let's pull up our terminal again. Git add, git commit, tacm, fixed, hash, 71, updated, bumped, influxdb. And then we can push it and watch the ticket close. I just love how snappy GitLab is. Like, I just hit push on the CLI. Did I do that right? Fix 71. Can I have a hash? Oh. Yeah. It's weird. So now it's closed. We have improved tracking. Now that my VM's showing up, you're supposed to not DND. Sorry about that. I had to delete a local user info. All right, now our Windows VM might be kind of behaving and we can show this off. So with one fell swoop, let's pull up VS Codium in here. Size is kind of crappy. But you can use the XPath query inside of Windows to do this. I really need to figure out the performance on this machine. Sorry about that. Helping out a friend with something. Data Explorer. Alright. Sweet Jesus. I opened up VS Code, Microsoft. I don't understand what I'm doing so wrong. Verdeo, SCSI, we do have right back. I want to say it's right through. That's the fast one. Anyway. So it should be happening is that we get data from Windows Defender. So let's try this again. Let's open up Task Manager. Could go on a rant about how it'd be nice to be able to like run the base OS in 4 gigabytes of RAM in a text editor. That's not terrible, but that'd be kind of rude. And to be fair, VS Code's an IDE, but still. Alright. So while Task Manager keeps thinking, I won't turn this into an OS rant. I won't turn this into an OS rant. I want to, but that is very rude. So let's go to web stuff. All right, so this is the web metrics dashboard. And although these are some very pretty metrics, the problem is we're not getting updated information from here. All right. So what we should do, sorry, I was starting the influx service. So what we should do, go over here. Let's go to Data Explorer. So this way we get a better feel of what's going on. So we have Linux. Let's do a how many, let's alert if we have a failed SSL host. So verification code error. So what we need to do is a custom aggregation. We need to get rid of mean. So let's do sort, get rid of that. There we go. Voila. So now if we run this query, we should be able to get an alert that says, hey, anytime this threshold is above 0, or let's do a count on this. Value 4. That feels weird that it's 4. So what we need to do is figure out, we need a verification code error. and we want sort, submit, and then anytime that there's information here, it's bad news, right? So the value of this would be, let's look at the raw data. Measurement, host, SAN, signature source. It's not showing the value, or I'm blind. Just slightly obnoxious. Oh, it's a string. So that's going to be the problem, is that the verification code error is a string. So maybe if we... So this is kind of the problem, is that the value of the thing that we care about isn't a numeric value. So let's see what happens when we get a count. So we do get 4 values, and that would be for the last... Okay. So we do... I think if we do distinct... Yeah. So if we do distinct, table 0 field... What if we do a distinct count? So distinct and count... Oh, that's going to return 2 tables, isn't it? So I guess it returning 4 or 1 doesn't matter as long as the value's above 0 and it's each series. So let's test this theory out. The hell? Jesus. A Windows VM with 4 gigs of RAM can't do anything. That's slightly obnoxious. Or is it... I wonder if it's mesh. Yep, it's good old Mesh Central ruining everything. There we go. Hey, there we go. Sorry, there's a memory leak in Mesh Central I have yet to troubleshoot. So that's what was slowing our Windows VM down. Anyway, back to business. So we have this table. We have a value that is numeric, I'm pretty sure. Count, measurement, fields, verification error. Let's go back to here. Let's just plot it over 24 hours. Yep. Is that the only... Yeah. So we just care that it's 4. So now if we go to alerts, failed SSL, yeah. That was a goof. Threshold check. Or I guess what we could do, a dead man might work. Yeah, a dead man could work for that too. So let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Sorry, I thought of something else really cool that we can do here. So if we do verification code, remote pbx.shiftsystems.net, submit, source. Let's do something meaningless like sort it. There we go. Oh, cool. So you just do verification code, returns a series over 1. So instead of doing verification error, the value on that is 1, right? Yeah. So we just do a verification code greater than 0. So this is a really simple alert now. We go to alerts, we're going to create a new alert. We're going to make it a threshold check. We're going to go to Linux. We're going to go to X509. We're going to go to verification code. And we're going to click start. Awesome. So now we need to determine a threshold. Mean should be fine for this. Oh, those time series charts. Those colors are distracting. So now we go to, we're going to name this check S failed SSL. We're going to configure check on $. This one is going to be on r.source. So where do I want to do? X509 certs. Sorry. What value do I care about? I care about the source, I believe. Yeah. On r.source. And this one's a critical when value is, yeah. We'll just change it to like point, increments. Stop incrementing so much, damn you. So now this is going to alert and say, hey, every time this value is above here, it's going to send a critical alert. And I have intentionally put this host in here so that way we can test stuff like this. And let's tag this bad boy for shift RMM. Woo, woo, there we go. So now let's go to, now I have PagerDuty up here on my phone, so that should keep us in the loop for everything going on. Okay. So while we wait for that alert, Windows actually started behaving itself. It wasn't Windows, it was Mesh having a memory leak. So you can write a query to get event fields from here. And then later, we'll update that with Chocolatey in a bit. And then this is an XML query that will grab all the events from Defender. So now if we go back to here, our Windows metrics should be reporting. Escanor. We want our crappy named host. So right now we haven't gotten any logs in the past hour. But as you can see, hey, look. I did run the iCar malware test on here, but you can start a scan. So this was... Now looking at this, I need to tweak this a little bit. Value time. Oh, customize, what was it? Time format. Hour, minute, second? Yeah. Yeah. Now that I realize like how not busy Windows Defender logs are, I'll kind of do this now. All right. So now we know when the event happened. So we know that we had malware on October 10th running at this time. So now, just as an example, Let's go back to our Proxmox VM here. Let's go into settings. Search for Defender. Guess it could have just popped up in Defender. Let's run a quick scan. It's going to scan over everything, and let's go to everyone's favorite web browser, Internet Explorer. And I believe it's the iCar malware. I want to say it's iCar test malware. Oh, I spelled it wrong. It's eCar. Sorry about that. Jesus. Oh, it's a PF blocker and G flagging it. So we do have a scan. We'll come back to that in a second. Yeah. I'll also retract my previous statement about why can't my VM load when it has software on it that has a bug. So let's go to iCar. About us, download test anti. Disable that. So now if we download, it's temporarily not provided. iCar malware test. So let's go to our file explorer. Let's close out Codium for now, because it. So Windows found a threat, the iCar file, and it quarantined. So now let's see if that shows up in our Windows Defender logs. Let's refresh our dashboard. Let's sort by the date. Hey, so now you can see that scan picked up pretty quick, and Windows Defender picked that up as well. I still need to go through. Microsoft actually has really solid documentation for what's going on here, but there we go. It's just something I need to put some effort into. And let's check in on PagerDuty, because a critical alert. Yay! I don't know if you guys could see that, but let's pull up OBS. Put my phone up there. And we have a failed SSL check. Woo woo. We have a failed SSL check in our PagerDuty, boys. It's a good job. I say that knowing my only viewer's a girl, so folks, we have SSL data. All right. So now what we need to do, let's do a failed HTTP check. Let's fumble around that data a little bit. One thing I love about this more than any other log solution or metrics-based solution is that it's really easy to fumble through your data. Like you don't have to, it's not like a SQL query where you have to be very articulate. The web UI gives you a really good way to like fumble around your data because sometimes you don't know what's like, you just kind of want to know what's there. And it's really easy to point and click your way around instead of like select star from table or KQL. We'll leave that one there. I'm waiting for Kibana to load. Submit. What do we get there? No results. Submit. Okay. I want to say... Okay, so let's look at our HTTP response and pull up the response code. So what the heck is... Okay, so that's a 200, that's a 301. Result type. What do we get there? Oh, that's interesting. What's the result code? Gonna throw value 3. That's gonna throw like a 301. So 0 is success. Awesome. Awesome. So this is gonna be another easy one. Failed HTTP check is probably gonna be anything greater than 1. The way we can look at this is going into the Telegraph documentation. Oh. Went to the wrong place. I'm just going to go straight to GitHub. Influx data telegraph. One sec. I'm a gassy boy. So we can go to our input plugins. We can go to the hell? HTTP listener, HTTP response. There we go. All those other HTTP methods were like querying like an API endpoint to get JSON data or something like that. Holy shit. Sorry, I just had a realization. I'll have to look into this later, but I'm pretty sure I just came up with a way to get systemd info. I think. I forgot you could use HTTPD. We'll get to that in a second. It's so much nicer coming into... Okay, cool. Yeah, so anything greater than 0 is an oh shit. That's what we care about here. So now, you can go to alerts. I really want to like power through this really quick. So let's create a threshold check. Failed HTTP. Linux. I need to write a script for outputting this. HTTP response. And then verification code, submit. Or it's not verification code, it's response code. Right? Nope. It's response code is the metric we want. Yep, cool. So mean, that's what we want. On... this is easy for now. Just so it's consistently formatted, I might like put different remarks on there. I might, as an Easter egg, put some eBoo alerts on there just as a gag, but we'll see about that. We'll see about that. I want to say it's r.server. There's the key we want there. And I'm going to say it's a critical thing that, hey, you haven't been able to get, like, so I know these are all integers, which is why I'm cool putting a, there we go, failed SSL. Let's just put this at 0.1. There we go. Easy as that. I could end this on a negative note and start trying to do the SSL expiry thing. Or we could take our W and go. I'm feeling bold. Also in chat, if you have any ideas for what you want for influx data or for like defender checks, as far as like more info than just like, here are the logs, you figure it out. So I'm thinking for sure doing like number of malware, or like number of items of malware found, last AV scan, and then probably doing an alert for an AV scan that's more than 24 hours old. I think that's about right. So let's put this in writing really quick. Let's segue. Let's do something else happy before I start doing a query I have a feeling I'm going to struggle with. I have a feeling. Create an OCRAP dashboard. Search for Defender somewhere. Oh, there it is. So I guess I need maybe, I don't know. Defender statistics. Stats, because I can't spell, especially when people are watching. So what we're going to do, host with malware found in interval, host with, I don't know if this is a dashboard or something that should be put somewhere. Host with spicy, host with malware found in time interval. Last scan alert for host with no scan in 24 hours. I forget how long apart defender scans are, and that host was under memory pressure, so I need to look at my Windows info on this. And basically put a little note in here. Right now, defender logs are just put in influx db, create stats that make some, oh, Shelby Broker hypervisor. F's in chat. What'd you do, Shelby? Kind of curious. You say malware. I say spicy files. So that mostly works, but you forgot about fileless malware. Which, I feel like that's one of those buzzwords like serverless computer. Or like serverless computing. But yeah. I doubt that. What happened after your reboot? I'll figure it out after the stream. I have access to her stuff, so I'll look into it. Last scan. Oh. Dead man for no new logs. So what dead man alerts for no new logs means is that, hey, something's kind of fishy here because there's like nothing here, which means like defender's probably off because it's not scanning. That might overlap with the last, like, no new scan, but we'll figure it out. That's to make those logs useful. So that's definitely going to be the fun part about this project, is not only like just putting all your data in one place, but making it useful and making pretty dashboards, because that's kind of the point. So I'll probably work with that with Shelby over the weekend. She's pretty cool and knows more about usability and security than I do. I have a knack for automating things and just like finding brutally simple ways to do stuff. And she has a really good knack for like finding random features in programs. So we're going to make heads or tails of our Defender log, Shelby. So I might be pushing that out to more stuff tomorrow. And then we'll see. We're going to read Microsoft documentation and see how that goes. The Microsoft docs for Defender are actually really good. They give you like every event ID ever. Okay, so Linux syslogging. I had an idea of when I was looking through the Telegraph stuff. Squirrel, but so now let's go to plugins, inputs, HTTP. One sec. Oh no, I tried this. I already tried this off stream. What I was hoping I could do would be to, there's a systemd, what is it? Systemd remote or systemd gateway where you can expose all your systemd logs over HTTP on a local socket or on a local host. I was thinking I could do that. Some of this is probably deprecated. Yeah, so. Basically what you're supposed to do is you run like a curl request and it would put everything in there. I could probably write a script to do it or do like an execd command, but I'm not super worried about making a sim right now. And Shelby, I swear, the Defender docs are actually really good. I promise. I'm not that crazy. Okay, maybe I am. I knew she was wrong. Her host is alive. I knew she was full of crap. Proxmox updates are extremely reliable. I haven't done a major release because the job I was using it at, I left before I got to that point, and at home I just nuked and paved because it was easier. I had 3 VMs and I could just dump them on a flash drive. And installing Proxmox takes 10 minutes and inflating VMs takes an hour. So, and mind you, that's on like modest hardware. So yeah. All right, we are at 53 minutes. So let's take a quick stab. I'm not super hopeful with this, but let's take a quick stab at doing some HTTP expiry information as an alert. So let's explore our data here. I guess let's explain something. Let's go to our web stuff dashboard. All right, so we have a check for this panel. We have a check for this, and I'm going to need to tell PagerDuty to chill the hell out after this, but that's FutureMe problem. What I want is to figure out this expiration date. The problem is you can't do math on alerts in influxdb just yet. So that's going to be the tricky part. Also, I call Canadian on you, Shelby, for saying you're sorry for rebooting your server during outside of business hours. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to be sorry for rebooting your server at 9 p.m. This is outside of your maintenance window. You contacted your internal IT team. It's fine. Oh, God, PagerDuty. Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to keep alerting me every 5 minutes until I do something. So I guess I could keep punting on this and do the web stuff. So I intentionally have some bad data in there. So let's sudo neovim. Thanks for the input on that, Shelby. So Telegraph if you're familiar with setting up a web server on Ubuntu or Debian, this is going to look really familiar. But in Telegraph, there's the telegraph.d directory, and this is on Windows and Linux, probably Mac too. So there's the wrong server. nvim etsy telegraph.d, and then you can have different configs in there. So for the HTTP stuff and the SSL stuff, they're just arrays, and you can change the interval. So like the HTTP stuff, I can check every 1 minute. You could also make it like 1 second if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend that because you drop like one packet and you're getting PagerDuty alerts. But you do you, boo-boo. For some use cases, I could totally see that. So now let's get rid of this. And then do a service test. Telegraph. All right. So this should be good for a while. Oh, thanks for resolving those PagerDuty alerts. Thank you. Okay, cool. Cool. Also need to do the PBX. Control K doesn't work in NeoVim. DD does though. There we go. Woo. Thanks for the help with those alerts, Shelby. Okay. Back to our scheduled programming. We're going to use Explore because that way we can drop to the CLI and see what we would have to do. This might be something we do on the Telegraph agent. So they have aggregators, so you can do math on the agent before it gets sent to the server. And that would make it better for the alerts framework because the alerts framework can't support arbitrary queries. You would have to like go do a manual task, which is it would work, but it'd be kind of clunky and bad from a usability standpoint because now you have alerts that aren't in the alerts UI. So X509 search, expiry, boom. What value do we have? So yeah, that's the problem. It needs to be like a sliding alert. And that's kind of the tricky part. So maybe we can do the end date. So what I'm thinking we can do is like create a field where it'll be like expiry duration on the agent. That's what I think I'll do. But that'll be future me's problem. Right now, just knowing that your website's down is awesome. Knowing your SSL checks are expired is awesome. Knowing they're going to expire is even better. And I think I'll take that off stream. I thought we've made some really good progress tonight. And it's been really fun streaming. Thanks for interacting, chat. Have a good night, guys.